Her billion-dollar empire was crumbling, frozen by a line of code no expert could break. Then, from a street corner littered with silence and disregard, a homeless man cracked it in minutes. But what unlocked next wasn't just the system. It was a secret buried deep in corporate betrayal. When she saw his name hidden in the architecture of her own software, her breath caught. This wasn't a miracle fix. This was a reckoning. This is a homeless man who helped a billionaire single mother translate code, and this happened. Story lovers, where are you watching from? Comment on your city. Asterisk, she had built her empire from scratch, wealthy, brilliant, and known as the woman who outcoded the industry's elite. But for all her power, Ava couldn't solve the one problem that now held her entire system hostage. A strange, untraceable glitch had frozen her company's operations, costing millions by the hour. She tried everything, flew in consultants, hired cybersecurity teams, even brought in retired engineers. Nothing worked. Tired and frustrated, she often walked alone through the downtown streets at night, needing quiet to think. She never imagined salvation would be sitting on a sidewalk, silent, unshaven, and wrapped in layers of old fabric. What began as a glance turned into a conversation, and then into something much deeper. Ava had no idea that this man ignored by the world held not only the answer to her problem, but a history tied directly to her company's darkest secret. At first, she approached him out of instinct, maybe compassion, maybe curiosity. His eyes didn't match the rest of him, sharp, calculating. When she mentioned coding, he nodded in agreement just once. She offered him her laptop, a test, and he passed it. Instantly, lines of code, her company's private back-end, like a familiar book to him. He didn't even need instructions. Within minutes, he had bypassed the system glitch no one else could crack. She stared in disbelief. Who was this man? But then he paused, froze. His fingers hovered above the keyboard when a line of buried code surfaced, one she didn't recognize. He looked at her, silent, then asked a question she couldn't understand, something about a framework her company supposedly never used. When she pressed him, his voice barely carried. "This is mine." Confused, she ran the name he gave through the company's archives. A shiver ran down her spine. Years ago, when the startup was just forming, a project proposal had mysteriously vanished during acquisition. It had been flagged as incompatible. But now, that same code, the foundation of her billion-dollar empire, was on her screen. He was the original creator. Her company had erased him. The shock hit her like a punch to the chest. All these years, her success was built on a theft she never knew happened. And the man who should have been celebrated had been left homeless, voiceless, discarded by the very system that glorified her. He didn't ask for money. He didn't demand recognition. He simply stood up, handed back the laptop, and turned to walk away, back to the streets. She couldn't let him. Tears welled up as she called after him, heart pounding, not just from guilt, but from the weight of the truth. Would he forgive her? Could she make it right? Dear audience, if you're enjoying the story, don't forget to give it a like. It really helps. She didn't go public with the discovery. She went personal. She brought him into her company, gave him back his name, and rewrote the company's origin to include the truth. He didn't want pity. He wanted dignity. And that's what she gave him. But for every Ava who chooses to do the right thing, there are 1,000 who won't. How many innovators, thinkers, and creators are left behind simply because they don't look the part? This wasn't just about code, it was about erasure. And a reminder that racism isn't always loud. Sometimes it's silent, institutional, systemic. The kind that buries a genius beneath concrete and silence. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to our channel for more powerful stories and new videos.